Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Power Afternoon Live. I'm Andrea Swedan, and as always, I'm thrilled to be here connecting with inspiring minds who are shaking things up, following their passion, and building with purpose. Today, I'm excited to introduce someone who went from crunching numbers in finance world to redefining confidence and comfort, one pair of boxers at a time. Anthony is the co-founder of Manmade, a fast-growing brand that's boldly rewriting the rules of men's essentials. He's also a proud Montrealer, a twin dad, and a man who understands the power of storytelling, connecting, and Sunday pasta. We'll be talking about the underwear games, the leap from banking to branding, building community through content, and what's next on the horizon. So grab your Aperol Spritz or your espresso and let's dive into this dynamic conversation. Welcome, Anthony.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you. Pleasure
You're
to be here.
welcome. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy you made it. I know it's a busy time, especially before Father's Day, but let's just dive into the questions right away
Let's do it.
so everyone can enjoy. So, to start, could you take us back to the beginning? What was the initial spark that led you to found Manmade here in Montreal? From finance to fashion, take us back. What moment made you trade spreadsheets to boxer briefs?
Good question.
Mm.
Very good question. Uh, the moment that made us, so how it all started basically is what you're asking.
Yes.
We're four best friends. We've all known
Okay.
each other since we were very young, since some of us since we were 5 years old. We were
Mm.
all in finance, but we had an entrepreneurial itch. We all knew we wanted to start our own brand. We all knew we wanted to do something entrepreneurial, but we didn't know what.
Okay.
So we decided once to go up north. We asked our wives for permission. We're thinking about starting something. It was pre-COVID, right before actually, and we said, you know what, let's go up north and let's brainstorm ideas of what we can do together. We knew we had complementary skill
Mm-hmm.
sets, but we didn't know exactly what we wanted to do. So long story short, we go up north, got the whiteboards ready, and we dove right into it. And we started to list a bunch of ideas of what we wanted to do. Some were good, some not so much. But after hours and hours of really doing our research, watching YouTube videos, understanding what type of need there is out there,
Mm-hmm.
we decided to take a walk. And it was a June, very humid day. We were in Mont Tremblant, and we were walking. And some of us, and I would say all of us, started to randomly complain about the boxer briefs we were wearing, the underwear we were wearing.
Uh-huh.
And many times we were asked, like, where do you get your boxers? And they would be like, oh, I've been buying the same from the same place since I was like, I'm in my teens. And the other ones, oh, my wife gets them. And the same thing where most guys, usually it's an afterthought. And
Okay.
we said, what about if you really want something good? What do you do? So we decided to go back to the chalet
Yeah.
and just basically like do some research of different brands, and start to see that there was a lot of complexity, a lot of choice, prints, patterns, colors, um, fabrics. Like before we got into this, polyester, cotton. Okay, we've heard of those, but what are they really?
Right.
So we decided to do a lot of research. We decided to order a lot of underwear, and we started to, and this obviously is after leaving the chalet
Yeah.
and realizing we're onto something here maybe. We did all that research in R&D, and we tried a lot of different products, and we started to realize that polyester is the right by plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't move, but it's not good for
Right.
you. And then cotton, once you put them on, traditionally they're breathable, but they lose its shape and they cause a lot of bunching and writing and all the things that men typically don't like. And then we came across modal, and we said to ourselves, what is this? We put it on and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. It doesn't move, it doesn't stretch, it feels like a second skin. How much were these again? And and we heard $40 USD for one pair. And
Oh,
we're like, that is crazy.
yeah.
So we put our business hats on since we're entrepreneurial and finance guys, and we're like, how come $40, you know? And we realized it's because there's so much choice. So when you have like prints and colors and patterns and all this different choice,
Mhm.
companies have no choice to mark up a product,
That's
and
right.
then whatever it doesn't sell, they'll discount it.
Mm.
We said, well, what if we just come out with one color? And that's what we did. We came out with just a black, and we were able to provide that fair price 365 days a year rather than play that game of coming out with different SKUs and colors and then discounting the ones that don't sell. And even at that, when we surveyed men, we realized 75% of them like the color black.
Okay.
So we decided, okay, that's enough for us. Let's get that started. And that's what we did. We got started, got our first batch. We did a lot of, organic marketing and hustle and bustle.
Okay.
Sold them and realized we had something there.
That's wonderful. But you left your previous work when you jumped into this.
Correct. So
Mm.
when we decided to start,
Mm-hmm.
and this was something that we were going to pursue, we 100% knew that we needed to be both feet in the project. It couldn't be in the business. We couldn't do two
No.
things at once. So we all had like some money saved, and we said to ourselves, worst case, that job is still going to be waiting for us, or we can find a
That's
job.
true.
Um,
You're right.
it took a lot of guts and courage, and obviously we weren't in our 20s, we were in our 30s, so some of us even had their first child at the time. Rob had his daughter. We had mortgages, rents, whatever the case, like big boy situation. So it was a lot of pressure, but I feel like that's when you perform the best. So you had to have your back against the wall,
That's right.
where there wasn't any excuse of, oh, today I'm not going to wake up early to do. Every day was a chip towards something, and yeah, that's the attitude we had since day one,
That's
all in.
amazing. That's amazing. Honestly, good job to the four of you. And how about the name, the Underwear Games? Tell us what this means to you and how it captured your journey.
You mean it like man-made, the name
Yes?
man-made? Yes. So in that year, when we're like, okay, we're going to launch this, obviously you can't whip up an underwear design and all of that, not being fashion guys very quickly, right? It takes time.
Mhm.
There's a lot of complexities when it comes to that. Basically, manufacturers, especially the bigger and the better ones, they're not going to give you like, who are you? Like,
Right.
why would
Can I
we
I have
take?
samples?
Yeah, like it doesn't work that way, and that's a whole story of its own. But we had a whole year. It took a year before we were able to launch. So that
Okay.
whole year, there was no revenue coming in. It was literally building the foundation to our company. And what that meant was the branding, the website, the product, everything, like from A to Z. And a lot of, once we knew we wanted to do men's apparel, we said to ourselves, like, we got to think about a name. So we started to think about all these different names, like Wise Men, Honey Badgers, Mojo. Like we had a bunch of names. And I remember coming in on a Sunday, and we needed to choose a name because we were about to launch in a couple of months. And we all sat down around the table together with a good friend of ours. His name is Julian Rotondo. And Julian, at the time, he's a graphic designer, a branding
Okay.
guy, and he helped us a lot come up with the logo, the color palettes, everything you see visually was with his help. And it wasn't just, oh, I'll get it done for you. There was hours and hours and hours of like questions that were asked. Who are we catering to? What did we want to? Who did we want to like? Who are we targeting? The perfect profile of this customer, and a lot of the visual and non-visual elements of the brand. And to go back, we did all that, and now it was like, okay, we got to pick a name. So we went on a Sunday, I remember,
Mm-hmm.
and we had our coffees, and we're around the table with the whiteboard, and I think it was Julian who said, "What about?" Because I forget the name of it. I forget there was something that was like man. I forget there was another name, but he's like, "What about man-made?"
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to you, all of us, we like,
That's it.
we all put our head up and we're like, "That's it." And we
That's
wrote
it.
it up. We wrote it out on the whiteboard, and we just stared at it for a whole 2 minutes, and we're like, "This is it. This is the name."
It
And that's how it
just it
all.
just hit you.
That's how it
It
all
came
came
to, it
about.
called you. It called it.
Exactly. And the logo is the an asterisk with a
Okay.
with a line at the bottom, but there's more to it.
Mm-hmm.
The asterisk, the meaning of an asterisk is that there's always a deeper meaning to something. So when you're reading something and there's a little asterisk near the word, at the bottom of the page, there's usually an explanation on what that word means. So that was a bit of the mindset behind that. But if you look at it, it's not a regular asterisk. It's an actual asterisk that looks like a man,
Yeah, that's
like
true.
the
Now that
head,
yeah, you're
right?
right.
So that's
Yes.
that. And then the bar at the bottom is actually a foundation. So what this means is a man standing on a solid foundation. And that's
Wow.
that's literally the brand we want to build. It's a brand based on function, based on quality and comfort. Um,
Mm.
we don't come out with a million different colors and prints. Everything we come out with has to have those three qualities.
Okay. No matter what, even for the future products.
Correct.
Okay. And what were your challenges?
A
Well,
lot.
a lot, huh? Well, other than being scared because you're taking a big leap.
So yeah, the fear definitely can be something that can either paralyze you
Mm-hmm.
or propel you. If you
Right.
take that energy of fear and you make it part of a part of you, of like taking that extra step, pushing that a little bit harder, and it helps propel you. It can be a positive thing. But look, like there was COVID, so when we first started,
Right.
containers were extremely expensive. Nothing was coming in. We were supposed to launch in May. We launched end of August of 2021. That's the one thing. The second thing, last holidays, Canada Post went on
True.
strike. That was a big one. Now there's the tariff situation that's we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always going to be obstacles and challenges, just like in life. Never a straight line,
No,
never. So you just have to be able to prepare for them and be agile enough to maneuver around them so that you can continue on your mission.
that's great. Yeah, and you have four opinions, right? Your four best friends. So
Correct.
you support each other, and I'm sure your family supports as well.
Of course, if it wasn't for our significant others, we wouldn't be where we are.
That's nice. That's precious. So let's talk about Dragon Dens. Let's
Let's do it.
do it. What was it like stepping into that room, pitching Manmade, and actually landing a deal?
It was one of the best experiences of our life.
Really?
We were only 8 months into our business. So
Okay.
think about it, right? I'll paint you the picture. You're 8 months into your business. It's a new business. We knew there was something there. Now we have to go on a show national wide and talk about our business, get challenged by serial entrepreneurs, and really be able to defend our company.
Mm-hmm.
So just that on its own allowed us to prepare very vigorously and really be on top of things when it comes to our business. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you're there in your underwear, right? So like that was like very challenging.
I'm
Uh,
sure.
but it was great because it really put our brand. It really gave our brand of the credibility it needed at the time that we were on the show. So 8 months out, as soon as we went on Dragons Den, it became public knowledge. Oh yes, Manmade, that brand from Dragons Den,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's one thing that I could say, like kudos on their brand, Dragons Den and CBC, for really having such a strong brand. And then the other thing I can say is it was the early days. We struck a deal on camera, but many times these deals never really end up panning out. And this time it was because, we shot it in May. I remember it was Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up being aired in October. So you have all of May, June, July, August, September, October. It's like 7, 8 months. A lot of things changed, right? Our revenue went up. We had economies of scale. There was a lot of things that changed. So now going back to that original deal, it didn't make sense anymore for us. And make a long story short, went back and forth, and we just decided let's not give up 20% of our company. And yeah, but we maintained a very good relationship with the team at Dragons Den. Shout out to all the producers and the team behind the scenes. They are the real backbone of that show. And we were really, really happy to have been on that show. We're actually going to be featured, and here's a fun tidbit for you. We're actually going to be featured.
Tell us, share with us.
We're going to be featured on the 20th anniversary. So this year in October, in the fall,
yes,
Dragons Den is going to have the 20th anniversary series.
Okay.
And at the midpoint of the series, they usually feature a company, and Manmade is going to be that feature. So
Wow.
they came, even though we never went through with the deal behind the scenes, the explosive growth, and what we said we were going to do, we ended up doing. They decided to come to our office, take a sneak peek of what we've built so far, come to our new office that we came to, and look at the warehouse that we got and the new office that we
That's
have.
amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So it was really cool to see that. And once again, a huge kudos to CBC and Dragons Den crew for taking us into consideration.
Wow, that's nice of you that you're very grateful.
Of course, you have to be. Nothing,
Yes.
we don't take anything for granted.
Good. That's good. That's nice. So you've had some amazing moments with high-profile collaborations and celebrity endorsements. How do you approach building those relationships, and what advice would you give to other founders looking to break into that world?
So, building relationships and not transactions. What do I mean by that? If I were to come up to you and be, hey, Andrea, can you do me a video and I'll pay you X amount, please? You'll say, sure, if the price is right. And you'll do the video, but have no emotional attachment to my brand, perhaps my products, or whatnot. If they're good, great, but that's it, it ends there. But if you try my products, love my products, sorry, I was receiving a call. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Love my brand, and love the story of the brand, and then we're able to get on a call, and then I can tell you our story, and that and build a relationship with the individual that we work with. It does something, right? That little something that you need in order for you to have the building blocks to build a special relationship. So to answer your story, you build a relationship, you don't build transactions. You identify people that would be a good match to your brand.
Okay.
And then you need to figure out ways to get the product in their hands. So that's
through connections.
Through being personable, through connections, through being perseverant, through being just figuring it out. Everyone can figure that out. It's hard, but it could be easy too, depending on the experience one has. And at the beginning, it was not easy, and it still isn't. But once you do figure that part out, then it's about having the proper conversations with the people that make the decisions. And most of the time, we want to have the conversation with the talent themselves, and taking it from there.
That's
You know,
you're right.
there's no real magic. It's not like
No, and you don't have it's yeah, there's no real formula that you're going to share and that we apply, but the perseverance and the connections and being genuine and real, it's all that mix that you're using.
if there's one person in specific you want to know about, I don't mind sharing that story, but they all kind of have the same background, which is literally either they tried our product, loved it, and sometimes reached out to us,
Mm-hmm.
an eye for them, and figure out a way to get the products to them if they haven't tried it yet. And then once they try it, they're like, wow, this is really great. Get on a call, talk about our story, talk about what we're trying to build. And most of the time, it goes in the right direction. And then you start slow, right? Doesn't have to be this long-term big deal, like
Right.
especially with people that do very well. Like this is the misconception, and this is something perhaps somebody could take away with this. You think to yourself, a celebrity, like why would they do anything for me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reality is, unless you're born a celebrity, which most people aren't,
Mm-hmm.
they were you once upon a time.
Yeah, of course. That's
In the
true.
sense,
You're
they
right.
had they had to work up some way, somehow. There was someone who gave them a chance.
Right.
So, you know, being yourself and showing your true colors, people tend to gravitate towards that energy. And I think that's the best piece of advice I can give someone. Don't think that because they're a celebrity, an athlete, or whatnot, that they're
That
not
they're
people.
yeah, right.
They're
Yeah.
people like everybody else, and you have to figure out what is a win-win. And sometimes that doesn't just mean money, because
No.
what can you pay somebody that already has $100 million that would really make them want to do something, you know? So it comes down to that. You have to figure out how do you make it a win-win? How do you build relationships and not transactions?
That's amazing. That's great. That takes time too, and you have to have it in you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the person that handles those types of relationships,
Okay.
figures out ways to work with content creators, athletes, celebrities.
Oh,
So
that's great.
like,
So I emailed the right person out of the four.
yes, yes, you did.
All right. So before we wrap up, two personal questions is
Tell me.
one is how do you stay grounded and aligned while building something this big and growing?
Don't forget where you come from, and
Goodness.
don't forget where you come from or who you are. And like, we have a lot of work ahead of us. Like we feel like we haven't even scratched the surface yet,
Mm,
right? So
that's
there's a lot of work in front of us, and like you just need to always remember, don't get too high when things are good, and don't get too low when things are bad.
that's right. Yeah. There's always a high and low. We have to know how to balance that, right?
Yeah, if you ride that wave when it's too high, well, you're gonna crash pretty hard
Mhm.
when it doesn't.
Right.
And if you go too low when times are bad, it, it may be hard to get out of it as quickly as one would like.
So true. So true. So your bio mentions Sunday pasta. What does that
Yes,
tradition mean to you and your family? And how do you balance the hustle of entrepreneurship and staying with the family life and culture?
it's a hard one. It's a hard one. For sure, in the early days, and I mean, we've only been live for 4 years and in business for five, because there's that 1 year that literally took a lot of energy, and then the first couple of years took a lot of energy. Even today, it takes a lot of energy, but we have a much bigger team than we had 4 years ago.
Okay.
So, what's my point is that for sure, let's say the first 3 years, it was a lot of weekends, nights, early mornings, late nights. Um, where now We still do those that we still put in the time, and we're very operational when it comes to business owners. So we're in the trenches. Like we sit with the rest of the team. We don't have our little private office. Like we don't do that.
Okay.
Um, but we did build a team and a structure in the business where it allows us, for the most part, to have our weekends and to be
Good.
home at night for dinner with the family. We believe balance is extremely important, and having supportive spouses that understand what we signed up for and what they signed up for.
Right. Absolutely.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's not never easy, but at the same time, nothing is in life if you really think about it,
And if you
right?
want to
So
complicate it, you can.
100%,
Yeah.
100%, So look, it's a balance, and Sunday pasta is Sunday pasta, like it's
So
it's a
who cooks it? You?
my sometimes my mom, my mother-in-law, or my wife.
Okay.
My wife is a
That's
very
amazing.
good very good cook. I eat it.
Yeah,
I
okay,
eat it.
that's good. You
But
enjoy it with the family.
yeah, it's been a tradition of ours forever, and it's nice because it's when all the family gets around the table. Most of the time, it's um, homemade, so from
Oh, wow.
scratch. It's right, so it's all it's all the journey of like creating it and making
Of
it, and
course.
then sitting down together
Of
and enjoying
course.
it together. And
That's
as the family
wonderful.
grows, it's special, and it's nice to keep those traditions alive because you want the next generation to continue them.
Of course, we hope we do. These are the best moments to be around the table with family, friends, enjoying a meal, no phones.
Exactly. No phones.
At least at that
When
meal time.
when we're eating, there's no
Yeah,
phones.
yeah,
It's
that's
hard.
that's the rule at our house, so
and
hopefully.
and also, like, when it comes to the rule at our house
Mhm,
too, in the sense
mhm.
where, when we're home and we get through that door and there's our kids and our wife and our family, for us it's like you try to turn off and spend that time. And like, kids go to bed at a pretty early, so if
Mhm.
there's anything that's pressing, it could be answered after 8, like, from like 6 to 8, it's that
That-
family time. And on the
That's great.
weekend, we try our best, unless we're in busy season, to really be hands-on with the family.
That's wonderful. That's great. Anthony, I had more questions because you're so interested, but I won't keep you longer. I really
If you
thank
want,
you.
I have time for one more. This is really nice. I really
Really?
enjoyed it.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to know, it was my curiosity, if you're going to add any female products, items, or
This is so-
unisex.
this is something that
You
has
said
been
I could
asked.
ask.
Yes, but this is something that was asked by many.
Okay.
And fun fact, 50% of our customer base is female buyers for their men in their life.
True.
And we get asked often, and we know that if we were to do anything for females, it would do very, very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that it's hard enough. It's hard at this point to come out with products. We came out with a swim short pants. We want to come out with a sweater in the fall. We're thinking about a polo. There's a lot of different products we still need to build,
Okay.
that diverting our focus to something just because we know there's money at the end of the day, or more added revenue that can, it's diluting our vision. And the vision really is to provide men with quality essentials they need, without the BS. And the BS is the prints, the colors, and all that stuff. Because
That's
we don't
true.
want to
Yeah.
own the wardrobe. We want to be the foundation of a man's wardrobe. And we're more function versus fast fashion. So to answer your question, in the short term, we don't have the resource or manpower to start a women's collection. We need to stay focused on our men's collection. But who knows what the future has in store? You
That's
know what I
true.
mean? Like,
You're right.
it's something that we've been asked a lot, and that, perhaps in the future, but right now, in the next 18 to 24 months, it's not in the plans.
Okay. But we could still buy caps and hoodies if they come out.
Listen, our wives wear our boxer briefs, our socks, and the boxer briefs they wear it for bed. They love it.
Okay.
It's comfortable. We've heard of people wearing our t-shirts. Some women in the
Oh
office
yeah,
coming to work in the
that I
t-shirts, the
know. Yeah.
socks. Like, obviously, you can't. It's not one of those. You're not going to buy for yourself. You'll probably steal your husband's or your boyfriend's or your
Mhm.
dad's. But the thing is that yeah, for sure, you could definitely wear the caps, and some of our products are being worn by women, but we are catering to men.
Wonderful. That's
Especially
great.
when a name like Manmade, we have to open a division woman made.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Well, you never know what holds in the future. For now, congrats for all of you, for you, your families, your team, your supporters, and we wish you all the best. And now you gave us the urge to go online and shop.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your interest in our brand. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, Anthony. Take
All right.
care. Thanks.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.